This is NTV.
Good afternoon. My name is Olive Burrows and you're watching NTV at ONE. We start with the latest on the coronavirus, and the National Emergency Response Committee on Coronavirus is currently meeting to advise on, among other issues, the travels during the festive season. The Council of Governors has recommended that the country goes into yet another season of restrictions of movement in order to mitigate the spread of the virus. The governors have argued that the rural community has vulnerable groups that could be endangered by free travel of persons for the Christmas festivities. The anxiety seems to have started building in recent days, as many people seem to be traveling much earlier than witnessed in past years. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe is on the spot for failing to formally authorize the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority to sell personal protective equipment at current market price. The agency's acting chief executive officer, Edward Njoroge, told the Senate Health Committee investigating the 7.8 billion shillings irregular procurement that KEMSA is currently selling a total of 115,000 PPEs at a whopping, get this, 9,000 shillings instead of the 4,500 shillings market price.
For the 115, we bought them at the price that we bought in March, 9,000 Kenya shillings. So we are waiting for directions from the ministry on how to proceed with the stock that we have at 115,000 and at what the market rate.
The last meeting we had with CS Kagwe, he said that unfortunately someone has got to bear the loss. Those were his words. If you go to the Hansard, word for word, that's exactly what he said. So if we are serious about this pandemic, why can't we then just sell them with the current price? And we stick, Parliament is a house of record. So I think if the CS is not willing to commit in writing, we call him here.
NTV's Seth Olale followed the proceedings at Parliament buildings and will bring us a comprehensive story in our later bulletins. Now, you will be paying about 500 Kenya shillings if you wish to travel using Kenya Railways from the central station all the way to the airport express. If you don't mind making stops, it will be down to 100 Kenya shillings. We have Victor Kiprop, who's been following that story for us, and the Cabinet Secretary James Macharia is speaking at this moment.
That's why I'm happy the media, you came along with us. You have seen for yourselves. You may have one or two questions, additional questions which you may have, over and above what you asked when we started this journey. But once again, thank you very much for joining us today. Yes, Victor.
Well, Victor, I have several questions. First of all, the two gentlemen, Alex and Alan, will deal with passengers missing their flights every day. How much does the extra connection mean for aviation? Second question, the last connection of the buses, who's supposed to provide? Is it Kenya Railways? Is it Namata? And what's the nature of the leasing deal with the rent for the Namata buses? And finally, there have been complaints that the SGR, passengers using the SGR are flouting the COVID-19 rules. What will be the situation with the DMUs to the airport? And also, if that's the case with the SGR, then our friends in the Matatu industry could ask, we should also resume normalcy. Thank you.
Let me address the last one about COVID, and then I'll ask the two MDs to answer the issue about operational logistics. COVID management is critical for all of us. That's why when we introduced the specific protocols for matatus, we also did introduce protocols for SGR. And we said that time that SGR, regardless of the demand, it will be only be taking 60% of the passengers. We made sure we visited the stations very frequently to make sure the people are sanitizing, to make sure they are following all the other protocols required. And so this is something which we shall be taking also very seriously, not just within the train itself, but also within the stations, in terms of making sure that there is proper sanitization. As you know, people get fatigued with these protocols, but we are actually saying we shall be taking very stringent measures. The inspectors who have been employed by the SGR, we will make sure that in every train, those protocols continue to be followed. We'd like to know if there are any specific cases where people have not complied, because we shall be taking very serious action. But let me ask the two MDs to come and answer the other questions about what you asked about last mile and so forth.
Thank you, CS. As to the question about what does this mean for our airport users, I would like to say that for Kenya Airports Authority, our motto is to provide stress-free travel. And therefore, what we have witnessed today goes a long way to demonstrate our commitment to providing that stress-free travel. The journey from the Nairobi Central Station to Embakasi Station took about 20 minutes. And the journey from the Embakasi Station to the airport would not be anything more than 10 minutes. I know today, because we were inspecting the infrastructure along the way, it took slightly longer. So all in all, if you are looking at a journey that is not more than 30 minutes, compared to what our airport users and especially passengers would experience on Mombasa Highway, given that the Nairobi Expressway project is under construction, you are talking of tremendous improvement in the experience by our airport users. So this means a great deal for us, and we shall do everything possible to make sure that it is a success. I hope I've addressed your question. Thank you.
I think I'm answering a question on who will be operating the BRTs. Kenya Railway will be.
For more details, be sure to join us at 7 and 9 p.m. on NTV Journey and NTV Tonight. The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, along with the Kenya Union of Nurses, say they will continue with their planned national strike after what they say is the government's failure to address their grievances. Some of the demands that the health workers want met by the government include the provision of adequate personal protection equipment and risk allowances, among other demands.
We have a government that does not care about the health workers. It cares about delivering on the other side, so health workers can go to hell. Health workers can be discriminated against the Constitution, paid meager pay, as long as they are able to deliver on their political interests.
In a related story, doctors in West Pokot have vowed not to resume duty unless the county government signs a collective bargaining agreement with them. In Tharaka Nithi County, Governor Muthomi Njuki is pleading with the county's health workers not to join the impending national strikes. This comes as the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union says it has suspended the strike that was to commence today in a bid to give dialogue a chance.
Doctors in West Pokot County say their strike will continue, citing a failure by the county government to listen and handle their grievances. The county's health workers say that the working conditions are poor and want the county government to set aside a specific health budget to ensure that there is money for promotions and further studies for specialists. In Tharaka Nithi, County Governor Muthomi Njoki acknowledged the county's health workers' plight, but pleaded with them not to go on strike. The governor argues that he has done everything within his power to improve the welfare of health workers, and their current issues are now national.
If we don't have health workers, we are going to lose more people than we are losing at the moment, which is not the desired result we are looking for. Kwa hivyo mimi ningewaomba kama rafiki yao in Tharaka Nithi County, hata kama strike ni ya national, tafadhali mimi naomba Tharaka Nithi, tafadhali let us go slow on that strike. Tutasupport vile wanasema huko national government, lakini we are in a very delicate situation, especially hapa.
The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers and Nurses have said the strike will continue, even though the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union say that the strike has been suspended for 14 days as the union continues talks with the Senate and National Assembly committees on the way forward. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
Away from matters of COVID-19 and the looming health workers' strikes, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i is in Matuga in Kwale County for a security meeting. CS Matiang'i is currently meeting with the local administration officials. Let's listen in.
Hii makundi ambayo ni haramu, ambayo mengine yanapotosha vijana wetu, na pia tumeangazia miradi mpya na mpango mpya wa kuzirikisha vijana katika maendeleo. Kutakuwepo kupitia kwa maagizo ya rais wetu miradi mpya ya kuangalia masuala ya vijana hapa. Mheshimiwa Rais aliamuru mwaka uliopita kwamba kujengwe shule moja hapa ya kitaifa ambayo ni ya kipekee katika pande hii ya Kwale. Tayari serikali imetoa zaidi ya shilingi milioni 168 kugharamia ujenzi mpya wa chuo cha walimu hapa na mambo kama hayo. Wakati huu tumekubaliana na governor, tumeanza kutafuta ardhi ya umma hapa, tuanze tena kambi mpya ya National Youth Service kuzirikisha vijana katika mambo ya National Youth Service na skills development, ili tuhakikishe kwamba tunawasaidia vijana wetu katika pande hii kuepuka kupotoshwa kuingia kwa hii mambo ya radicalization na wengine kujihusisha na visa kama hivi ya makundi mbalimbali ya kigaidi na makundi mbalimbali ya kupotosha watu, na msisimko huu ambao unaletwa na wale wengine hata ambao wanataka kuwalisha watoto wetu kiapo na mambo kama hayo. Kwa hivyo tumezungumzia mambo mengi ya usalama. Mimi namshukuru gavana wetu hapa Kwale, na washukuru viongozi wa kaunti ya Kwale wote na vile wamefanya kazi na sisi. Nashukuru timu yetu ya usalama, our regional commissioner Bwana Elungata na watu wake wote ambao wamefanya kazi ya ajabu katika pande hii ya Pwani. Jana tulikuwa Kilifi, tumeshinda hapo the whole afternoon jana kuzungumzia yale ambayo tutafanya pande ile ya Kilifi. Tutaweka kambi mpya pale, tumeongeza askari na strength ya patrol tuta increase pande ile. Ndiposa tumekuja hapa na Deputy Inspector General Bwana Kapoa ambaye anasimamia special units. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa na a small special unit pande ile ya Choni Kilifi, so that we can patrol the place better and deal with incidents of crime. There is some construction work going on of a road there, and some other activities that have led to commission of crimes there, because 2 weeks ago some bodies were collected from some place. We are investigating cases of murder and crimes of that kind, but we are making sure that henceforth the
Kevin Mutai will have more details for us at 7 and at 9. In less than 24 hours, the Kusi Ideas Festival 2 shall have kicked off in Kisumu County with enlightening discussions on a post-COVID Africa, looking at what next as the continent forges the way forward. This year's festival, put together by the Nation Media Group, supported by the Kisumu County government, will have heads of state as part of it, as well as various thought leaders in diverse sectors. Dan Mwangi now joins us live from the venue of the forum, that is Stiala Resort in Kisumu County, to give us an update on preparations and what to expect. Dan, how is Kisumu, Dala?
Olive, the clouds are even here to tell us that it's about to become great. The turnaround time in preparation is great, so we're just going to pick up the picture, paint it for you of what exactly is happening with the preparations here at Stiala Resort. We have a lot going on. So we have, for instance, the shall be live on our TV, live on NTV, and that's on the outside. Just on this side, there's a lot happening across the place. So post-COVID Africa will look like in terms of partnership, in terms of different sectors, be it the economy, be it the arts, be it health, especially, which is very key in this time because all of this is a health matter primarily. So even inside here, it's actually, see the red carpets are being rolled out.
We'll get more information from Dan Mwangi in a little bit. I think his movement is a little bit too much, but he will be bringing us up to speed on the preparations in Kisumu, Dala, on the day preceding the Kusi Ideas Festival. I hear we have him again. Dan, sorry about that. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Olive. And like I was saying, we're going to be speaking to Clifford just to give us some sense of what exactly should people expect over the next 2 days. That's from tomorrow all through to Wednesday.
Yeah, I think what you should expect is really in-depth discussions about the future of Africa, especially with regards to COVID-19. One of the things that we have done, and is something that we want to continue doing when it comes to Kusi Ideas Festival, is being able to bring the best minds across Africa to be able to discuss ideas about the future of Africa for Africa, by Africa. And I think what we should expect is a lot of discussions around the COVID-19 exemplars, some of the countries in Africa that have done very well. We should expect discussions on what is the outlook of the economy post-COVID. We should expect discussions on what we call the vaccine race. And the vaccine race is to see how does Africa also sort of dip its hand into the pot and ensure that they're actually in this race. And we should also expect discussions around the blue economy. We are in the epicenter of the blue economy, and the Lake Victoria is just around the corner. And what we want to see is that what is the role of the blue economy when it comes to Africa recovering together.
Okay, yeah. And maybe just briefly you could tell us who are some of the key individuals who we expect to be speaking during the festival or the conference, as it were?
So we expect His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is our host and also our keynote speaker. We also expect His Excellency the President Paul Kagame, who was our host last year in Kigali and is one of the key leaders in Africa who has pledged support for Kusi. We expect the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who is the High Representative of Infrastructure in the African Union and the former Prime Minister. We expect Governor Nyong'o. We expect Mukisa Kituyu, the Secretary General of UNCTAD. We expect captains of industry from not only Kenya but across the continent. We also expect diplomatic representatives as well as representatives of the youth in Kenya.
Okay, thank you very much, Clifford. There's a lot that you're going to be learning from this conference. It'll be both online and on broadcast as well. That's on TV. So we ensure you that it's going to be worth your time, worth the insight, and we shall be giving you the updates on our social media platforms as well as on our various channels, on the television channels. And so at this point, before our signal decides to, get in and help with the preparations, I'll hand you back to Olive Barrows in Nairobi.
Thank you, Dan, and we look forward to the Kusi Festival as always. As Dan Mwangi said, NTV will be at the center of the action, so you definitely want to keep it NTV. On that note, let's take a break. We'll be back before you can say NTV.
Jana ulipotea hivyo baada ya kupepa ule mtemu kwa potapota ukaenda hivyo.
Unajua huyo mrembo alinipeleka hadi kwa nyumba. Nikasema mimi siedi kugalisha masikio. Nikatapa shughuli.
Jamaa mbona mjipendi?
Kwa nini?
Yaani unawezaje patana tu na mtu kwa street alafu uende ukachapiane naye?
Kalishizo mashine.
Ulitumia raba eh?
Kwani bado mnatumia raba?
Okay, ngoja niulize jamaa. Nani hapa hivi amepimwa hivi majuzi?
Pale kwa Mwangi, si ni 10 bob.
Sijasema kupimwa weight. Saa hizi kupimwa HIV ni haraka na ni bure. Unaweza pimwa kwa clinic na bado unaweza jipimia kwa nyumba yako wewe mwenyewe na self test kit 500 peke yake.
Niende nipimwe, nichipate niko positive. Unajua hakuna kitu naogopa kama hiyo.
Kuko na madawa na kuko na counseling na utaishi maisha yako normal tu. Kuko na HIV si eti ni mwisho.
Wewe uko nayo?
Mimi nilishapima.
Unapoendelea kujikinga kutokana na HIV, tafadhali zingatia taratibu zote za serikali za kujikinga na virusi vya corona.
Afya bora, maisha bora. Jipime, jiinue.
Ruiru Mabati Factory offers best quality mabati at the most affordable prices. We pride in over 10 years experience. Our products have 15-year warranty and are KEBS certified. We manufacture box profile, Europe tile, Jenga tile, corrugated profile, among others in a wide variety of colors. Enjoy our free delivery in just 72 hours. To order, call us now on 0111 050 700. Ruiru Mabati Factory, Mali Safi, kwa bei po.
It's always a full house this season when the family comes together.
To reconnect.
One thing we do, we watch GoTV. We love it.
It is everyone's favorite place this festive season.
Usimiss out. Get GoTV decoder kwa shilingi 1999.
GoTV. Love it.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV at 1. So the Kenya Wildlife Service and Ruko Community Conservancy have moved to Rothschild giraffes from Longicharo Island in Lake Baringo to the mainland. The two endangered giraffes were trapped and isolated on the lower part of the island as water levels continue to rise. Another 6 giraffes, which are still trapped on the island, will be rescued next year. Rose Wangoi has those details.
Months of torrential rains caused lakes Baringo and Bogoria to swell, creating several problems for both human and wildlife. As the lake waters rose, the endangered Rothschild giraffes in Longicharo Island were forced onto a shrinking slice of land. The island the giraffes have been living on has been slowly disappearing. The adult female giraffe named Asiu had been living on Longicharo Island, where water levels had been rising up to 6 inches a day due to heavy rains. Asiu had become cut off on her own, and her rescuers faced a race against the clock to get her out. Getting Asiwa and her fellow giraffes to safety isn't an easy task. The massive animal boarded a custom-made steel barge. The barge is an engineering marvel designed and built specifically to carry the giraffe. The rectangular steel structure floats atop a series of empty drums for buoyancy. Reinforced sides kept the giraffe from jumping out as the barge was gently maneuvered by boats. Another giraffe known as Pasaka was also rescued from the island. The two were relocated to Ruko Community Conservancy. Currently, only 6 giraffes are holed up at the shrinking Lake Baringo Island, and their relocation to safer habitation in the mainland will have to wait till next year. The operation is being coordinated by the Kenya Wildlife Service, Save Giraffes Now, and the Northern Rangelands Trust. Rozongoi, NTV.
Yay, indeed. Those giraffes successfully moved via barge across Lake Baringo to the mainland from an island where they were trapped. Hopefully the 6 that remain on the island will soon be on the other side of freedom. Religious leaders in Nakuru County are calling on security agencies to crack down on mushrooming criminal gangs which are targeting minors for recruitment. Speaking at the Nakuru Anglican Cathedral, clerics expressed concern that school-going children in Kivumbini, Kaptembwa, Flamingo, Kaloleni, Ronda and Bondeni slums were being recruited into the gangs owing to prolonged holidays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Recently, 2 rival gangs clashed in Nakuru Nakuru town, leaving 2 people dead. Nakuru County Commissioner Erastus Mbui has blamed elected leaders in the area, saying they're protecting members of some gangs, thus interfering with efforts to contain the groups. Community members have been urged to work closely with Nyumba Kumi officials to flash out the gangs that continue to terrorize Nakuru residents.
Waweze kufanya kazi yao vilivyo na walinde raia ili mauaji haya yasiende kuendelea, na hasa muhimu huu ambao tunakaribia Christmas. Wakati wa Christmas kunakuwa na ujambazi mwingi. Tunaomba polisi wawe alert na waende around ili waweze kuchunga raia ambao wanauawa bila kuwa na hatia yoyote ile.
Ghanaians go to the polls to elect a new president and parliament. Voting started at 7 a.m. in Chebi, the hometown of President Nana Akufo-Addo, who will vote later in the day in a bid for re-election. More than 17 million people are eligible to vote in presidential and the parliamentary elections, with the race for the top job expected to be a close-run fight between the incumbent Nana Akufo-Addo and a long-time opponent John Mahama. The two long-time rivals who are squaring off for the third straight time as they seek a second and final term are widely seen as the two frontrunners in a crowded field of 12 candidates. Voters will cast their ballots for a new president and members of parliament for 275 constituencies at 38,000 polling stations across the nation. Campaigning has largely focused on the economy, infrastructure development and the handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. The two major parties have always accepted electoral outcomes and pursued any grievances through the courts. To ensure its continued tradition of peaceful polls, Akufo-Addo and Mahama on Friday signed a symbolic peace pact. Time to take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. The Football Kenya Federation Kirinyaga County League is set to kick off on the 20th of January 2021. And that is according to Kirinyaga's FKF branch chair Timothy Mudhike. The sub-county and zonal leagues will wait until they're able to gauge the success of the top league. Mudhike added that the league will have a total of 16 teams across the county, and they will consider separating it in case more teams show interest. However, the FKF officials have decried a shortage of referees, calling on the county government of Kirinyaga to offer training services so as to help them sort out the crisis.
Venye tutaka kukuza mpira Kirinyaga, structures za mpira za Kirinyaga kuanzia chini ya the zonal level mpaka county level, na umuhimu wa kucheza hizi ligi because hizi ligi hii ligi itatusaidia wachezaji wetu kuwa promoted to the next level, teams promoted to the next level, wachezaji kuwa scouted by national federation.
Kenya's 2020 London Marathon podium finishers have been ushered on a 5-day-long familiarization holiday to key attraction sites in the country. This is part of an initiative by the Kenya Tourism Board on a long-term collaboration with athletes to position Kenya both locally and internationally. Kenyan marathoners have dominated the competition over the past decade, with Eliud Kipchoge winning the competition on 4 occasions, including the 2018 and 2019 editions.
I think it's important to understand the way that athletes put the destination on the map. As a marketing agency, KTB is proud to be able to, first of all, honor you and give you an opportunity as a nation to appreciate you for the work that you do for the nation. Every time the anthem is played, it puts Kenya on the map. So all of the work and the training and the commitment that you have towards your sport and towards your career, we really appreciate. And therefore, we want you to experience some of the beautiful scenes in this country that you promote so often and might not have an opportunity to have seen.
To the English Premier League, where defending champions Liverpool welcomed the return of 2,000 fans to Anfield with a 4-0 win over Wolves. Mohamed Salah gave the Reds the lead midway through the first half before Jorginho Wijnaldum added a second after the break. A thumping header from Joel Matip put it beyond doubt, and a Nelson Semedo own goal gifted Liverpool their fourth of the game. The win keeps Liverpool level on points with league leaders Tottenham Hotspurs, who beat Arsenal 2-0.